Headlines flash, troops deployed, conflict escalates, defense budget surges. We see soldiers and politicians, but behind the scenes, a hidden ledger is written in dollars and cents. A few families have turned war into history's most profitable business, from the Civil War to the War on Terror. DuPont, gunpowder. Rockefeller, oil. Morgan, capital. Lockheed, technology. Halliburton, logistics. Their fortunes, built on conflict, still shape America's power today. The DuPont story begins with Eleuthère Irénée DuPont, a French immigrant who saw opportunity in America's poor-quality gunpowder. In 1802, he established a mill in Delaware, just as the young nation faced frequent wars. The U.S. government became his first major customer, and by the Civil War, DuPont was the Union's principal supplier of gunpowder. This monopoly turned the family into financial juggernauts, giving them leverage and political clout. As warfare evolved, so did DuPont, expanding into dynamite, smokeless powder, and by World War I, supplying 40% of Allied explosives. Profits soared, and the company's integration with the military-industrial complex was complete. In World War II, DuPont helped build the Hanford site for the Manhattan Project, gaining invaluable experience and government connections. This placed the DuPont dynasty at the center of the atomic age, ensuring their relevance and profitability through the Cold War and beyond. The war profit pattern was now embedded in their DNA. The Rockefeller dynasty's fortune was built on oil, first for lamps, then for the engines of war. John D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil dominated U.S. refining, and as navies and armies mechanized, oil became essential to military power. World War I was the first oil war, and Rockefeller companies supplied the Allies with vast quantities of petroleum, reaping huge profits. Even after the antitrust breakup, the family's companies worked together to fuel the war machine. By World War II, oil was the lifeblood of warfare, and Standard Oil companies provided everything from aviation fuel to synthetic rubber. Government contracts were massive, and the family's wealth grew alongside their political influence. Their foundations shaped foreign policy, and family members held key government posts, ensuring access to global oil reserves. Today, ExxonMobil and Chevron remain major military contractors, a legacy of the Rockefellers' early realization that oil powers both war and profit. Their dynasty's influence endures, tied to the world's conflicts. While DuPont provided firepower and Rockefeller the fuel, the House of Morgan supplied the most essential commodity: money. J.P. Morgan built a financial empire so powerful it could rival governments, becoming the sole purchasing agent for Britain and France before the U.S. entered World War I. Morgan's role deepened, helping transform America into the world's leading creditor. The Morgan dynasty proved that financing war is as critical and profitable as fighting it. The Lockheed story is the story of military aviation, inseparable from American conflict. Founded in 1912, Lockheed soared during World War II, supplying iconic aircraft and expanding rapidly. The Cold War's arms race fueled demand for advanced weaponry, with Skunk Works producing legends like the U-2 and SR-71. Today, Lockheed Martin is the world's largest defense contractor, with the F-35 program cementing their central role in modern warfare. Their business is war, perfected. Halliburton represents the modern evolution of the war profit pattern, shifting from weapons to all-encompassing logistical support. Founded in 1919, Halliburton's transformation began with its acquisition of Brown & Root, moving into government infrastructure projects during the Vietnam War. As the primary construction contractor for the U.S. military in Vietnam, Halliburton's cost-plus contracts incentivized higher spending and profits. Political connections, especially with Texas politicians, secured lucrative no-bid contracts. The blueprint was set profit from the logistics of war, not just the fighting. In the 21st century, Halliburton's subsidiary KBR became the private army behind the public one, supporting U.S. forces in Afghanistan and Iraq. By 2008, KBR had received nearly $40 billion in contracts, despite allegations of overcharging and waste. Halliburton's success illustrates the privatization of war, profiting from every aspect of military deployment. The company spends millions on lobbying, ensuring access to decision-makers and a steady stream of contracts. The Halliburton dynasty perfected the service-based model of war profiteering. The Cold War didn't bring peace for these families. It institutionalized the war profit pattern. The existential struggle against the Soviet Union created permanent military mobilization and a multi-trillion-dollar defense industry. DuPont continued its role in the nuclear arms race, operating facilities that produced key materials for America's hydrogen bombs. Oil giants like Exxon and Mobil became global players, their strategies intertwined with U.S. foreign policy to secure energy resources. Lockheed thrived on the technological arms race, producing advanced aircraft, missiles, and spy satellites in decades-long billion-dollar programs. Every crisis justified new weapons systems and contracts, enriching these corporations and their shareholders. J.P. Morgan managed the capital flows that funded this permanent war economy, arranging financing and advising on mergers. The Cold War created a closed loop. The threat of conflict fueled defense spending, which flowed to these corporations. Profits funded lobbying for policies that maintained high defense budgets. The family's wealth and influence grew exponentially, not from a single war, but from the perpetual shadow of one. The war profit pattern isn't just about being in the right business. It's about shaping policy to keep wars and contracts coming. These dynasties built powerful influence machines in Washington. Lobbying, campaign contributions, think tanks, and the revolving door between government and industry. Defense contractors and oil giants are top spenders on lobbying, ensuring access to lawmakers and Pentagon officials. Campaign contributions support politicians who favor higher defense budgets and interventionist policies. Their funding of think tanks shapes the intellectual climate, creating an echo chamber for military action and weapons procurement. The revolving door ensures former officials land lucrative jobs at the very firms they once oversaw, blurring public and private interests. This seamless flow of personnel embeds corporate interests deep within the state. The result: a government apparatus biased toward conflict, with profits secured for those who shape the policy. The war profit pattern has created dynastic fortunes, rivaling the treasuries of small nations. The wealth of the DuPonts, Rockefellers, Morgans, and the heirs of Lockheed and Halliburton is a living force in the 21st century. Managed through family offices and foundations, their fortunes are insulated from economic cycles and wield immense influence. Their names adorn universities and museums, their philanthropy often obscuring the origins of their wealth. The concentration of power in a few defense and energy-focused corporations creates inertia toward military solutions. When the Pentagon is your main customer, peace looks like a market downturn. Lobbying for higher defense budgets diverts trillions from public needs, keeping the nation on a permanent war footing. The ultimate cost: a state apparatus biased toward conflict, enriching these dynasties. As new tensions arise, the pattern continues. Drones, cyber warfare, and space weapons are the new frontiers. The war machine grinds on, and the unseen architects of conflict reap their dividends, proving war remains America's most enduring business.